Thanks for taking out the time. The floor is yours, Nat.
Thank you so much, Prince, and good to meet you as well. And yeah, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. And I will just switch on my camera for a short second just to say hi. And then I will switch it off so you don't look at me, but look at the slides on the screen instead. So I hope everyone can see my screen properly. And
Yep.
thank you to the Daily Tech community for having me for this Copilot Day Bootcamp on a Saturday. And being a person that has been in the community for many years, I've been doing a lot of SharePoint Saturdays back in the day. So I'm used to kind of doing a little bit of work also on the Saturday. So also great session from the previous speaker, because it's like just as she was talking about, it's like prompting is so important, and going and knowing how to get started in the different tools, it's very, very important. And that's also a little bit what I will cover in my session as well. But I'm going to focus on getting started with Copilot inside of Microsoft Edge or inside of just the browser, basically. So that's kind of like something everyone can start with today. You don't even need to have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license to get started. So just 1 second. Yeah, there. All right, sorry about that. Just my daughter had a question, so I had to reply to that. But yeah, so let's get started. This is me. Knut is my name, as mentioned. Please follow me on LinkedIn X. There's only one Knut that is a Microsoft MVP, so it should be kind of easy to find me. I have been Microsoft MVP now for 9 years, and hopefully in the beginning of July, I will get my 10th year. That will be an achievement for sure if that happens. But I've been doing a lot of community work, a lot of mentoring, a lot of collaboration, and sharing is caring over the years. And especially I worked with a lot of different intranets and intranet projects. So you might have seen me somewhere. But since I'm calling in from abroad, I kind of thought to give you like a couple of pictures from Oslo. We are not always that lucky to have this nice sky, but we can be lucky to get it. But it's also a little bit enhanced with the AI or the modern design capabilities, you know. And then here we have also a picture from Oslo, and I'm also having a site of my own called Rent365 Expert. So please check that out and take contact with me if that comes interesting to you.
I thought you were gonna show us the auroras as well.
Yeah, so the goal for today's session is learning how to use Microsoft Edge browser, because the Microsoft Edge browser has a really nice panel on the side that I will show you with a lot of functionality. But of course, you don't need to stay in the Microsoft Edge browser to do a lot of these different things as well. So I will also go and jump into Chrome to show you that if you just go to copilotmicrosoft.com in Chrome, you can also do a lot just from there. So first of all, let's talk, and probably have seen some similar slides of this today, but let's just highlight that we are focusing over here, which is the different type of chat applications. So we have Copilot, which it previously was known for Bing Chat, or you have Copilot Chat, which is the M365 Chat. You have all these other Copilots, and of course, the nice things about the ones over here is that you can also use them even without the license, as I mentioned. This slide I will just skip because I'm pretty sure you have seen it multiple times already, either today or in the past. But the nice thing about Copilot is that it's available everywhere. So you can just go to copilotmicrosoft.com. Doesn't matter which browser you're in. It can be Firefox, it can be Safari, it can be Edge, it can be Chrome or any other browser. You don't need to sign in if you don't want to do that, because you can do a lot of things, even as mentioned, without being signed in. It works on the mobile phones. And of course, it works also on Windows, and it also works, of course, obviously in the Microsoft Edge browser. You can, of course, go on Mac in Safari as well. There are a few things, for instance, on a Mac that doesn't work in the same way as on Windows, for instance, because on Windows, you will have integration with the kind of the start panel when you click like the Windows button. For instance, from Norway, that also don't work on the Windows device yet. So there are some places where it's not available yet, but then you can just use the browser and Copilot Microsoft.com, as I mentioned. So where to get started? First of all, there are different Copilot versions, as mentioned. Copilot, you have the Copilot free, where there is no sign-in required, and that's where what I mentioned about Copilot Microsoft.com. Then you have the Copilot free, but you have signed in with your Microsoft account, and that's your personal account. That's like email at hotmail.com or outlook.com. It's not like the enterprise version. It is the kind of the personal consumer version of the Microsoft account, which can be sometimes a little bit confusing because there are also some of the Copilot or AI stuff that requires that type of account and not your business account. So that could be pretty confusing for you. And then you have the Microsoft Copilot Pro, which is the consumer version of M365 Copilot for the enterprises, which means that you will get Copilot into the tools that you're using on a day-to-day basis. Just as the previous speaker was showing, she mentioned around like creating slide decks in PowerPoint and so on. That's what you can also do with the consumer version of Microsoft Copilot Pro. We can go into Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, and Word, of course, and get the help of your assistant, the Copilot, within those applications. It doesn't work for Teams at the current point of time. So if you want to have a Copilot within Teams to get kind of the functionality inside of Teams that is super helpful, then you need to have the the paid version of M365 Copilot over here, which is the enterprise version. It has actually come a couple of more Copilot versions now, which is there's a Copilot for sales, which is called, which is actually this one, but with some more special functionality for people that works into sales towards Microsoft Dynamics. And there's also like a Copilot for services, like people that is working on a help desk or a phone, these kind of things. That is also this one, but then with some specific helpers for people working in those type of businesses. And those is coming at a $20 extra on top of this one. So then you are up to $50 per user per month for that type of functionality. This one is costing $20 per user per month, and this one, as you all know, I think these days is $30 per user per month. So what's the difference between not being signed in and being signed in if you go to copilotmicrosoft.com? For instance, if you are not signed in, you have a limit to 5 prompts per conversation. There's no personalization as the conversations are not saved. And you can also not go and do image creation with the Microsoft Designer. So for instance, with Microsoft Designer, as also previously mentioned, you need to be signed in with a Microsoft account to be able to do that. So when we are signed in with the Microsoft account, and now I'm talking about this could be a personal account or it could be a Microsoft Enterprise account. You get unlimited conversations, basically, so you can have as many conversations as possible. Like here, there's also a limited amount you can have during a day. So you can say like, hey, now you are not allowed to ask more. But of course, you can always open another browser and then you can continue. But again, yeah, it will not remember the conversations. And for instance, like one of the things when you're working with Copilot is usually one prompt is not enough. It's not like a one prompt pony kind of thing. So a lot of times when you work with Copilot, you need to ask one prompt and then you get your answer, and then you're asking another prompt to kind of tailor the answer that you get from Copilot. So that's where it's highly recommended to be signed in with a Microsoft account. And then you get, of course, unlimited conversations. You get up to 30 prompts per conversation, and you can personalize it based on previous conversation. This, of course, can be turned off if you don't want to use it. So what about Copilot in Edge? And I will go and show it to you in just also a few moments as well. So with Copilot in Edge, you can use the contents also of one of the pages you are on. So that's kind of where it's really interesting. And there's a lot of functionality here already without actually needing to pay those $30 per user per month. So for instance, if you are inside of Copilot in the browser and you want to, for instance, get a page summary of a page where you are at, you can do that. You can open up a PDF inside of also the browser, and you can also ask then Copilot to summarize that page that you have opened in here. So there are all these kind of functionalities there that is actually pretty nice. That allows you to do a lot. For instance, let's say that you are a bakery and you want to go and check what a competitor is doing. You can then go into the website of your competitor, and then you can check what type of cooking they are doing there. You can kind of ask, get like a summary of this page. You can go in and ask, like, can you highlight the most interesting items here, and so on. There's a lot of things you can do there to get like an overview of whatever your competitors are doing, even with Copilot inside of the Edge, because you have all the Edge, the Copilot functionality in the pane that you can get here. To get to it is just to click the Copilot button up in the right corner. And I will show you that when I will do my demos very soon. So as you can see, when we are clicking that button, you have three options up on the top here. You see you have the chat, the compose, and the insights. So for instance, you can use this also to write emails because a lot of people, they are using Copilot because they have a writing block or it's difficult to start writing something. And then with Copilot in Edge, you can go in and start to write there. And you see on the top, you have write about. So this is like where you're writing your prompt. This is where you will write what you want Copilot to generate some text for you for. You can use it to write emails. You can use it to write blog posts. You can use it to come up with some ideas based on the text that you have here. And of course, you can also copy paste the text here. So if you have, for instance, a 2000 letter text maximum, as you can see here, but if you want to generate some tasks based on that, you can just copy the text in here, and then you can generate the tasks from that text as well. You see that there's possibility to have different lengths. You can also have different tones, as we will see on the next one, and there are a lot of really nice opportunities here. But first of all, let's just go and see like some of the things that you can. This is like a really nice slide that I'm always doing when I'm talking about Copilot. So here we will see that this is kind of the top 10 first things to try with Copilot for Microsoft 365. Of course, here we will not ask Copilot to do a recap of a meeting because we are in the browser again. But we will see here that typically people want to summarize an email thread, draft an email. As I mentioned, we can summarize a document. We can tell me about the topic and the project. We can also ask you to give some ideas. So for instance, give me a bullet list of key points from a file. We can ask, tell me what's new about topic organized by emails, chats, and files. Suggest 10 compelling taglines based on a file. We have all these possibilities that we can utilize here. And of course, we have a few more, and then I think I will just jump into very shortly and just show you how all this works. And as you can see, one of my favorite ones is since I work for Mosaic 365 and I also work for Lightning Tools. Like my English is pretty good, so with Lightning Tools we all speak English, so then that's fine. But for instance, with Mosaic 365, it's a French company, so a lot of their corporate conversation happens in French. For instance, emails I get could be in French. It can be chats in Teams that are in French. Of course, in Teams you can anyways just mark the text and click translate. But it's also nice that Copilot also come and give me the capability of translating a message, because then I will easily understand it as well and actually be able to participate in a conversation that I previously was not possible to do. So let's jump and take a look at this. So here you see that now I'm actually inside of, this is Chrome. So this is my Chrome over here. As I mentioned, now you can just go into copilotmicrosoft.com. I'm not signed in because I see up here is the sign in button. So you see now I can get some kind of ideas of what to do and what not to do inside of Copilot. And you see that I have here the conversation style. And of course, it also comes up with some like marketing stunts, let's call it like that, because it says I get Copilot Pro. And of course, it wants us to sign in to ask more questions and have longer conversations. I want to also highlight that we have a notebook over here that is really nice, especially when you are signed in, because here you can go in and actually edit your different phrases, and you see that we can have up to 18,000 words here. So this is like a place where you can go and do a lot more. It's also possible now to use the microphone instead of writing, so you can just talk to Copilot. And of course, we can go and add an image in here as well to use for our content creation. We also can go in here and refresh with Copilot and asking it to use another topic, because sometimes, like if you are having a conversation with Copilot, it is kind of like it's focusing on that conversation that you have, and that's why when you're finishing with that conversation, you need to change the topic and switch. Let Copilot know that, hey, by the way, now we're going to have a conversation about another topic, because if not, whatever answers you can get can be influenced by the phrases, the questions that you asked Copilot before. So you might get some answers that is not what you exactly are looking for. So, but let's just jump back here. And of course, we can ask Copilot about anything. So, can you tell me what Microsoft MVP award is? And now I was not even allowed to ask it without being signed in. That's interesting. But let's just try to do it with being signed in. So now you see that I'm signing up over here, and you saw that now from having 2,000 down here, it also increased to 4,000. So there are these small things that Microsoft does to help you to kind of push you to being signed in, and of course it's helpful. Also pay attention to the right corner up here where you see chats. So here you have different GPTs that is available, and also if you will go to Copilot Studio and create your own Copilot, it will be available here. So, or if someone else in the organization has created something and made it available for everyone, it will be here. But here you have the designer. So this is where you can go in and create images that you design. This is where we will ask Copilot. For instance, you can use it also to help you with planning a vacation. So for instance, visit Machu Picchu in Peru. Then the vacation planner GPT will come in and give you some kind of the information about that. For instance, we see that when is the best time to visit, because it can be quite wet there. And there's also like how to get there, and of course some tips for your visit and things that you need to bring with you. So, and you see that it has the learn more things down here, which is like kind of the sources that it uses for the information that it brings to us. But let's go back to the Copilot itself, and we can I copied the copy. So what is the Microsoft MVP program about? Let's see what it will tell us now. So now you see that it went into mvpmicrosoft.com to find that out. We can also see is Knut Moa Microsoft MVP. because we are staying now in the same context. We are asking just more questions, and then yeah, I'm apparently I'm still a Microsoft MVP, which is great, and it comes up with different sources here, as you can see. So the different sites that talks about that. And of course, a really nice thing that is also something that Microsoft is really encourage us to do, is to bring them feedback. You have the feedback buttons over here with however good Copilot gave you an answer when you was kind of asking Copilot different questions with the phrases. So you can go here and dislike it, depending if you think it was a good answer or not. And we can copy the answer. We can also export answer, as you can see, to Word, PDF, or just text. And I can share it with also, as you can see here. So we can share it by email, which can share it on Facebook, X, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Reddit, or OneNote. So that's also like a kind of nice way of, if in case you want to share something with your colleagues or whatever. And now you see that we can also like, how can you become a Microsoft MVP? We can ask here. And then it gets like some questions about that. So you see that there's a lot of things here. That of course is great. Let's try one thing. I'm not sure if this will work. Make this into a table. But you see, it worked. So now it creates a table for me. And this is also where it's really nice that, for instance, you see that we have the possibility to go and edit this into Excel just by the click of a button. And I'm now even in Chrome. I'm not even in Microsoft Edge. And you see now I have like I have one more because I'm signed in with the M365 account, but I'm not signed in with my corporate account. So there are some limitations here with the free version compared to the kind of the business version. But what I can do, I can always go here and do a new topic, as you can see, and now I will have 5 more. So we have all that capability within here. There's always important to pay attention to the conversation style, because if you do creative, you will get creative answers. If you do balance, it's more like a mix between the creative and, of course, if you want to use it to give like yeah, I will say like the more correct answers, you should use the precise one, because then it is a good answer that it comes in with. And as I mentioned, since I'm logged in, we see the recent ones that I had here. So, and you can go in and look at it and review it also afterwards. You see, we also have a plugins button up here, and this of course is with already available plugins that you want to use. This is of course open, depending on how you have configured things in. But of course now I'm logged in with my personal account and not any corporate account. So here you see that there are Kayak, for instance, searching flights. You have Insert Chart, which is like a plugin for recipes, meal plans. And then, of course, if I want to search the more in the web, then I can also, this one is on already, but with this could have been also switched off to not being allowed to search out. It might be also that your corporation has switched off this one by default. So even if you're not signed into Copilot, it might be that if your organization is using some restrictions on Copilot, then it might be that it's not allowed to search the web to find answers within Copilot. I have been helping a few organizations out which actually have that one switch on, so then they don't want the employees to go out and search the web of information, so they're only allowed to search within the organization. So be aware of that as well. It might be an issue. So yeah. Great. Let's jump now from Chrome into Edge to take a look at how things will look like there. So I have my Edge up here. So here you see I'm signed in with my corporate account, the Knut at teamkrm.com, and it's also highlighted quite heavily over here that I'm there. Also now you see that we have the work and the web here. So by default, when you come into copilotmicrosoft.com and you're signed in with your corporate account, then it's automatically in the work scope. So if I want to go in and do things that is checking the web for information, I have to first switch to web here. You also see that in the top right corner now, I'm protected. So that means that because I'm signed in and so on here with the corporate account, then I'm protected with regards of keeping my data safe and secure. And even if I have a Copilot license here, this will be also the same if I will not have a Copilot license, because for instance, in this tenant, I don't have a Copilot license attached to my user, but I'm still protected. So let's go here and just try to go and ask again some questions. But before we do that, let's just go and open up Copilot in the Edge browser. So you see now as the plugin on the right corner. So I'm just went and clicked the Copilot button. You can also use Control Shift and the plus button and the comma, I think is configured here, but this you can configure yourself to what should be the keyboard shortcut to do this. But let me sign in. And let's see if this works or if it asks for a personal account here. No, so it worked. So now you see that I also get the protected button up here. Again, I'm only signed in with my corporate account. I have no Copilot license attached. So this doesn't involve a $30 per user per month license in here. I opened up like a tech blog from Microsoft, as you can see here, moderating content in Microsoft Viva. Let's go in and just ask Copilot to generate a page summary for this one for me. And now you see that to be able to do that, and that's why I did it in this browser and not the other one, is that you need to allow Copilot or Microsoft to access the page content. So if you just know here, Copilot is not going to give me a lot of good answers, but it might be that your cooperation has some limitations here, and that's why it's good to know that for me, I will say yes. But it might be that your organization has this switch to no. And since I haven't signed in here before, I also need to accept terms and use and privacy. So now you see that since I accepted both, we are actually coming in and getting a great summary from the moderating content in Viva Engage setting. You also see that you can always review your permission settings. So you see here notification and app settings. So in here, you can go in and switch off if you no longer want to give Copilot the same permissions as I just did. So that's good to know that you have that possibility to do that as well. And you see in my case, your browser is managed by my organization. So it might have been that this also would have been switched off by default. But coming back here, you see that now I use to generate the page summary. And then I can also ask Copilot questions that I know the answers to here. And you see that Copilot also comes up with suggestions of questions based on what it already knows. So can you explain more about the keyword monitoring? Because you see here we have the text keyword monitoring, and that's something you can do in Viva Engage, and so that people are not using bad wording and all that kind of stuff. So let's just go and click this one. Can you explain more about the keyword monitoring feature? And now Copilot will gonna go and explain that for us. So this is pretty cool. This is really nice, and this is really great. But what I think is even more cool is that I can also ask something like this. Can you please create 3 social media post for me about this page. So now what happens is that actually Copilot comes in and generate 3 posts that I can use on LinkedIn, I can use them on Twitter, I can use them on whatever social media platform that I want to have, and it's already with hashtags. So let me just copying it into Notepad for now. Let me just drag that across, and let's just zoom in a little bit so that you'll be able to see what actually is also written here. So you see post 1, elevate your team's collaboration with Viva Engage. Discover how our moderation tool fosters respectful and professional dialogue in hybrid work environments. Stay connected and informed no matter where you work. Hashtag teamwork, hashtag digital workplace. So this, as a Microsoft MVP and a person that is quite active on social media, this will help me save a lot of time. And this kind of also a little bit of the concept of the session today is like show you some tips and tricks on how you can save time in your day-to-day tasks. It's like, of course, I can read the post. Of course, I can write some social media posts by this myself. But literally, it took like 3 seconds for Copilot to do the same. And of course, now I could just copy this one, put it into X, copy the link, and then post, and then I'm done with it. So there's are all these nice, great features that comes into place here. So now we are on the chat button here. But if I go to the compose one, then you see that this is the same that I showed before. Let's just open it up a little bit wider so it can take a little bit more space. And you see here that we also have write about. And then, of course, the thing now is that I would love that this one will go in and write about this page also, but it doesn't. But what I can do, I can, for instance, go and just taking the first paragraph here, as you can see, and I use now 414 letters. And I can choose my tone. As you can see here, it can be professional, informal, funny, enthusiastic. So let's try enthusiastic for once. I can go and select the LinkedIn post, and I can select short, medium, or long, and I can generate a draft. And again, this is something I do every day. I create a lot of different LinkedIn posts about different blogs that I might be writing myself, or maybe somebody else was writing. And then I get here as well a blog about this. And if I now go and choose also long and we do more professional, then I can go and generate a draft again about the same. And you see I also have the button add to site here, so I can also get it back in, or we can just copy it. And of course we can ask more things in here to kind of get more information coming in from Copilot. And again, this is something I can do without having any M365 Copilot license. But if you go back to my chat again here, we can also ask Copilot here, create a list from most important elements of this page. And now it will come again and create a list of what's the most key elements of this page, as you can see. So this is also something that I can have used instead of going in the compose one to kind of go in and create something I can share on LinkedIn. I can also have used exactly the same one here because again, here I get the copy one. I can also export it to whatever, to Word, PDF, or text, or just copy And then again, I can go to my same notepad as I have here, just let's clean it up, and I can paste it. And this I could have then pasted in another, in LinkedIn, for instance. So there's all these nice ways of kind of getting to work and do things with the browser add-in for Edge that I wouldn't been able to do unless I was actually here in Edge. But let's just jump back to where I'm signed in over here, because here I actually also have a PDF, as you can see. And so this is a PDF, a brochure of Mosaic 365, which is the company I'm working with. So again, here I can also open up Copilot, same kind of thing, but now I have a physical file. So let's just wait for Copilot. It was a little bit slow this morning. Maybe it also needs a break. And you can see here, here I'm signed in with M365 Copilot one. So I see I can also go then and choose the GPT-4 Precise Fast. And I can also use the Turbo because I'm signed in here with M365 Copilot license. But I could have done more or less the same if I hadn't the license. So here I can generate document summary. So now this one will generate a summary of this file, as you can see here, which is a physical PDF file. Kind of similar to what you could have done if you was into PowerPoint and you wanted Copilot in PowerPoint to generate a summary of that PowerPoint presentation. So this is, in my opinion, a very, very great way of getting started with Copilot without having to have the $30 per user license, because first of all, you need to figure out like, how can I work with Copilot? What type of benefits can I have with Copilot? Like, how can I save time with Copilot? Because sorry, because when you know that, it will be a lot easier to go to your boss and say, hey, dear boss, I need Copilot, because then you can show already like how you've been using Copilot today and saving a lot of time on using it. And now you see, I got in here, the key features of Mosaic 365 is outlined on this current page. And again, I can also make this into a table format. So again, we are creating then a table so that, as I showed you, you could also do into, if it was into copilotmicrosoft.com, we have the same kind of functionality here. This is pretty similar to also what you will get if you're using the Teams app Copilot inside of the Teams as well. But let's just, for now, work with this one. And you see I have the web up here selected. If I will choose work, then I don't get the generate document summary. Let's see what happens. So now you see that it is going somewhere else and doing the same. It didn't use this one, as you can see here. It just went into all of my emails or some of my documents. You see here top 3 features for my Microsoft Copilot. And so on, so because now it's in the scope of work. So if you want to work with PDFs, pages, etc., you need to make sure that it is having the right scope on the top here. So, but what is cool here, we can ask, tell me about. Let's see, tell me about Knut Relbe Moa. So now it actually looks into what are in the organization. It doesn't go and look out from outside of my organization. You see here also 2 of 30 responses. So, and it shows references. So let's see. So this is again searching within the organization and the scope of the organization. I can also, of course, add the file here, and then you see that now it looks into my OneDrive. So, for instance, I can go and do this one, and I can ask. Let's just do it in another way. Sorry about that. Just will first write the prompt, and then we will attach the file. Generate summary of this file. And if you do the backslash, you get the files already. So I will just do this one and click. So now it looks through that PowerPoint file, and it can generate again that page summary. And again, I wouldn't have needed to have the $30 per user per file per user per month to be able to do that. I can do it simply from within here, or we could have done exactly the same thing from within here. So if I go and switch to work, we're gonna have done the same. But what I like here, for instance, in this experience, and also we have same here, we can go and view prompts. So this is going to the Copilot lab. So you can see that, for instance, here I have different set of prompts that I can ask Copilot. Because I can go and what's the latest from person. So, and then I can select myself. What's the latest from Knut? Let me organize by emails, chat, and files. So you see now it will go through all these things, but I can also just do it from emails. Now it will go and look into all of my emails, and of course it's not that interesting to do this on myself, but it will be more interesting to do that, of course, with someone else. But of course, if you are, for instance, on a vacation and you come back and so on, this could be nice, quite interesting to go in and check these things by yourself. And again, it shows you the reference to where it found all this information. But let's look a little bit on here. We can say, okay, when is my next meeting? So let's check when I have a meeting with myself. You can see that as well here. So I also get a link to the meeting. So that's again something that if you want, you can use this as well to kind of follow up on the same things. And this one is always quite nice because a lot of times it can be difficult to write something. So we can say, help me write. And again, I can use myself, this presentation that I'm holding actually quite right now. So let's see what will happen. So now it takes the PowerPoint presentation that I'm using for my session right now, and I'm asking it to write the top priorities for the next quarter using this file. And with a nice layout as well. This, of course, would have been more, for instance, if I had a business report or something like that, then of course it will be different, but it's just to give you an idea. So my presentation is all about enhance the user enablement and the user experience. And so we get this one out here. So the first priority is to do exactly that, and then integrate across the Microsoft 365 application, commit to security, compliance, and privacy, expand Copilot accessibility, and foster a culture of continuous learning. I think it's pretty good, actually, pretty great. And it took like how many seconds to do that? So, and you see 2 of 30 responses. We can also add more details to the email. So we can say that, hey, it was not enough. So let's bring me a better, more email. And let's see what it will do right now. So you see now it's added more information on each of the topics, as you can see here. So this is a great way to get started to use Copilot. Is a great way to start to learn. And the last things I want to kind of emphasize and highlight is, first of all, you see here that this is the recent activity, which is great. But as again, the prompt button here, you see the icon here, this is to show the different prompts. This is like a super great place to start to understand what type of prompts exist. For instance, you have track your tasks, get off to a great start, write a complete intro paragraph to a document. Don't miss out, summarize Teams messages where I was mentioned. Let's just try this one out. And this is great, for instance, if you are not part of some meetings for some reasons and you want to catch up and finding out like all this kind of stuff. So here you see all the meetings where someone was mentioning me within the meeting, which is again, I can just jump directly into the message thread from clicking here. This will help me save a lot of time and help me kind of stay up to date with the day-to-day tasks that I have. Going back to the prompts, you see here, see all prompts in Copilot Lab. Also, the nice thing here is you can save them, as you can see here. It's also possible to categorize them, as you can see here. So if you haven't tested out Copilot Labs yet, then you should for sure do that because it's really helpful. It's a great place to get to learn how to write prompt as well. Because for instance, you see here, don't miss out. Summarize Teams messages where I was at mentioned this week. Where's my next meeting with person? So when's my next meeting with person? So it's a really great way to see and understand how you can build up prompts. Because again, you don't get better answers from Copilot than the prompts that you are writing Copilot. Again, here is the prompts to try out. So this is now went into Copilot Studio. So here you see that this is all of the prompts that are here. I can also go show more, and it's also a great place to go in and get tips for better prompts and writing better prompts as well. And I can here, as you can see, I can filter based on the different applications to use. Here, of course, it will come more because a lot of people said that, hey, I'm missing Excel here, I'm missing Teams here, and so on. But of course, that's gonna come later. All right, so let me just jump quickly back to my slide deck and then we will open up if there are, yeah, actually, this was exactly what I talked about, the Copilot Lab. So Copilot Lab is a collection of prompts that can be used to explore and experiment with Copilot. And this is a great way to get started. And of course, it will evolve and adapt as the AI becomes more advanced. And it's a great place to get some insights to what is possible. And it's also great for you to start to save the ones you're using the most, because that will also help you to work more productively with Copilot as well when you do that. I will share this links because here's a great set of places to start, how you should write prompts, starting to use what is a prompt and so on. So really good set amount of links, or you can just go to adoption.microsoft.com/copilot and then you will find all this stuff there as well. So let's open the floor if there are some questions.
Hey guys, you guys can unmute yourself and ask the questions. To be honest, a very interactive session, and a session where we learned it as part of Microsoft, being with Microsoft for so long, still learn the new ways or free ways to get your things done.
Thank you, Prince.
So thanks a lot for the great session. Um, Guys, please share your questions. That is still available for few minutes before his session ends, and if else you can even connect with Nat on his social media profiles. I have a comment from you, Nat, I think.
Yeah. Thank you, Hermali, for that. That's great. And yeah, please feel free to